Okay, this week we're going to write poems. And the poems that we're going to write are going to have a rhyming pattern or rhyme scheme. This is an example of a poem that rhymes, a rhyme poem, and it is called April by Ella Higginson. And the pattern of her first stanza is A A B B B A. And all that means is the first two lines rhyme with each other, then the next three lines rhyme with each other, and then the last line rhymes with the first two lines. And she repeats that pattern throughout her stanzas. And that's really important because when you write a poem that rhymes, I want you to have a pattern and I want you to repeat it multiple times in your stanza. So your pattern could be very simple. It could just be A or B B, but I want it to repeat throughout your standards or stanzas. Sorry. So this is called April by Ella Higginson. She's kind of describing the season as a girl, a kind of a fickle girl. Um, so listen to this poem real quickly. Ah, who is this with twinkling feet, with glad young eyes and laughter sweet? Notice feet and sweet have the same ending sound, therefore they rhyme, so they both have that AA next to them. Who tosses back her strong wild hair, and saucy kisses flings to care. The while she laughs at her, beware. So all three of those lines, hair, care, and beware, all have the same ending sound. So those we put B, 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 so that they're the next rhyming sound and they all match. And then the last one, with who this winsome maiden meet. And that meet rhymes with feet and sweet. So that goes back to that A. So it's the pattern, the scheme is A A B B B A. And notice she's going to repeat that pattern throughout the rest of her poem. She dances on a daisied throne, about her waist a slender zone of dandelions gold. Her eyes are softer than the summer skies, and blue as violets, and lies a tearful laughter in her tone. So throne and zone, those are the first two lines. They rhyme. Then we have eyes, skies, and lies. The next three lines rhyme, and then tone goes back and rhymes with throne and zone, those beginning lines. She reaches dimpled arms and bare. Her breath is sweet and wild as wild rose air. She sighs, she smiles, she dances or glances down. Her brows meet in a sudden frown. She laughs, and tears the violets drown. If you should meet her, oh beware. So bear, air, rhyme, and then down, frown, drown. The next three lines rhyme, and then beware at the end rhymes back up to bear and air. And also, um, beware is in both the beginning and the end, so it kind of wraps it up. Of you should be cautious of this season because she's fickle. One minute she's happy, and the next minute she's raining. Okay, enough about that. I don't want to get into analyzing the poem. So let's talk about rhymes. Rhyming words are words with the same end sounds. When a poem has rhyming words at the end of its lines, these are called end rhymes. A rhyme scheme is a pattern of end rhymes in a poem. Each new sound at the end of the line is given a letter, starting with A, then B, and so on. And if an end sound repeats, the end sound of an earlier line, it gets the same letter as the earlier line. So let's look at this example. So here's some really easy examples. I'm going to assign a letter for each ending rhyme sound. So in Mr. Brown the Circus Clown, the first line says, Mr. Brown the Circus Clown puts his clothes on upside down. Now, clown and down, both those end lines rhyme, so they have the same letter, which is A. He wears his hat upon his toes and socks and shoes upon his nose. So toes and nose rhyme. Toes is different than clown, and down has a different end sound, so it's going to be a new letter. The next letter in line is B, obviously. So the rhyming pattern, the rhyme scheme is A A B B. Now, my penmanship is pretty bad. This is a different poem. My penmanship is pretty bad. I'm going to give it a letter A. My printing's my printing's plainly awful. Now, awful and bad don't rhyme, so it gets a new letter, B. In truth, my writing looks so sad. Sad and bad rhyme, so we're going to go back to A. It ought to be unlawful. Unlawful and awful rhymes, so that's going to be B. So the rhyming pattern is every other line rhymes and it's A, B, A, B. So you can choose whatever rhyming pattern you want for your stanzas. You just need to have the rhyming pattern repeat throughout your stanzas and just make it really consistent. Okay, now we're going to write the poem. You want to write a poem with at least 10 lines. You may want to organize your poems into stanzas. I think that would be easier to do with the repeating pattern. Once you've determined what you'd like to write about, you'll decide on a rhyme scheme that you will be using in your poem. And then you write the first draft of your poem. So maybe you're just going to do A, B, B. So the first two lines rhyme, the second two lines rhyme, the third set of lines rhyme, and just repeat that throughout. Okay, once you've written your rough draft of your poem, you want to revise and improve your poem. Improve your poem by refining your word choice and improving the images in your poem. Poetry is often about using descriptive words and imagery. You want your reader to really be able to visualize what you're talking about and trying to figure out what you're describing. Try to be creative with your rhyming words, nothing too obvious. Review your draft to ensure that you followed the rhyme scheme. So you want to make sure that there is a pattern that's taking place. Um, okay, I'm so excited to read your poems. This is just, think of it as almost like writing a song or a rap. All of you guys can do that. So just be creative along those lines. Just because it's called a poem, you know how to do this, you know how to rhyme. So I'm really excited to read your writing.